Okay, next we go on to Univibe. This is one I've kind of been excited to look at. It's the one that I've never really played with or used. I have obviously played with it on the pedal briefly, but I kind of feel like it's a hard one to mess up as well. It feels like you can get a lot of different sounds with Univibe and it still sounds good as a Univibe. So let's hope they did a good job, see what it sounds like. I mean, I'm already a fan of that. Slap some reverb and delay on. So it's possibly that setting, it sounds good, it's possibly a little too much for me, just a little bit too deep, a bit too out of tune. I never read what the card produces a natural warm vibrato sound. So you have on the mix controls the volume of the effect, and then depth and rate do as they say. So let's crank the depth, no rate, all the mix. Let's just see what that sounds like. There's absolutely no change. It's a very slight volume boost, so let's add some rate in, because obviously it's not doing anything otherwise. So the rate's still quite low. That kind of seasick kind of tone, isn't it? It's just going to make you throw up at some point. So let's pull the depth back and we'll push the rate up so it's a little less seasick sort of tone, I guess. So let's try that now. Mix is still on full. Okay, the rate is okay. Depth that high with that rate is just still way too much for me. So let's pull the depth back even more. Let's go actually under 12 o'clock. Kind of similar position as the rate. That's pretty good. I'm actually going to pull some of the mix out a little bit just to see what that sounds like. So let's go with the mix about 2 o'clock. Okay, so I'm just going to pull the depth and the rate back, but I'm going to find a sound that I would like basically, because this is still too much for me. that's a good effect for me. I'm liking that. So let's move on now. So we move on to the Univibe, and the description of this one is: simulates the classic Univibe effect. Same as the Vibe, controls the volume is volume, and depth and rate are depth and rate. I'd be surprised if there was a huge difference between this one and Vibe, but let me just go between the two quick. Okay, so going between the Vibe effect and the Univibe effect. With the knobs in the exact same position, the Univibe has got less depth to the effect. It's also a brighter tone. It's it's got this kind of shimmer or sheen about the sound. So that's quite interesting. I wasn't expecting too big a difference. So let's just play with the effects. Depth and rate. I'm glad I did that because that's the best Leslie sim I've heard on this pedal, which is one of the effects it doesn't have on it. I probably just need to pull the depth back on that one just so it's not quite as in your face. Yeah, that's cool. So again, I've not dialed in an amazing tone there for that, but if we pull the mix back, that'll probably get us closer. It's obviously not meant to be a Leslie, although the two effects are relatively close in sound. So let's actually get a decent sound out of it. Even with the depth all the way up, it's not as severe an effect as the Vibe was. So the rate needs to come back down, but again, still with the mix and the depth up there, it's not overpowering. I could still use that. So let's just pull that rate down, see how that sounds. Yeah, that sounds great. Maybe drive in front of a Vibe isn't a great sound. Let's get some verb and delay on there. that's nice. There's a noticeable volume boost in this effect. So if I go from the effect being off and just play, you know, like an A, turn the effect on. It's kind of surprising that there's a boost like that. Most of the time with modulation pedals, and most of the time with like cheaper modulation pedals as well, there's a volume drop, and there is a volume drop on this if you choose to not have the effect fully mixed in on a lot of effects. So like the choruses, for example. But yeah, the Univibe, it actually boosts it a little bit. So what that will allow me to do is I can just run the mix back a tiny bit. So if I don't want 100% of my signal to be vibed, I can just pull the mix back a little bit, but not experience any volume loss. So I kind of like that. Excuse me. I kind of wish every effect on the pedal was like that, where it just had kind of 1 or 2 dB of boost at the very top end of the pedal, so that if your chorus effect is a subtle chorus, but you want people to really notice it for that moment of a song, then the way you mix that in, that can be achieved. But it's fine, it's just a minor thing. Let me just dial in the mix to where it's kind of unity gain. You can see how much sweep you have on that mix control before you start to lose volume. So that's a great little feature on that one. Very impressed with that. I should probably use Univibe a lot more. So yeah, that one's good. Let's move on.